Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone 15, compare it against the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, and see which particular phone is the better one for you. Now, I will definitely tell you between both these devices, the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra is probably the one that's going to be more of a flagship, but I think the iPhone 15 still has a lot of capability, and I would for sure probably recommend buying that iPhone for a lot of people as well. Now, if you want to pick up either one of these devices, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off with the outside, the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, which came out last year on the front, has a 6.8-inch dynamic AMOLED display. And it's a pretty good panel. It's 1440p, and it's easily one of the better panels that Samsung's ever made. Personally, for me, I've always felt like that was a really good thing that Samsung did here. And still to this day, it looks like a beautiful panel. Is it perfect? No. But you are getting a hole punch display, curved display, and 120Hz as well. That's a pretty cool thing here. And by far, that is one of my favorite things within this device, without a doubt. So that right there gets a thumbs up for me for sure. Now on the iPhone 15, you were getting a smaller 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. So this is a little bit of a tiny bit of a different story. The thing with this particular panel you have to remember is that this is a smaller display. It's dynamic island, which I like. But the thing with this type of phone is that it's kind of stuck in this kind of middle ground where it's a good panel, there's not a lot to complain about, whatever, we've heard this before. But my issue with it is that it's still at 120Hz. I feel like Samsung, I feel like Apple could have done a little bit of a better job here. There's not really anything we can do about it, but it's just one of those things I kind of think about, and I feel like they could have been doing a little bit of a better job. But regardless, still a good panel, dynamic island, whole 9 yards. It has a lot of stuff going for it. But like I said, I definitely do think that as of this point, this is a really good panel, and I'm a massive fan of the iPhone 15, but the S22 Ultra definitely wins here for sure. They both have a little bit of a different style to the back of them, they have curved sides on the Galaxy S22 Ultra. The iPhone 15 has more of a curved side, so kind of keep that in mind there. The Galaxy S22 has more of a curved side than the iPhone 15, so keep that in mind there, but it's still a little curved on the 15. On the bottom, they both have USB Type-C ports, which is really cool to have. On the back, you're getting frosted glass backs between both these devices, which again is super cool. The S22 Ultra I think is much a better, frosted glass back, but the iPhone 15 is still very good as well, and that's something that I really do like between both two. The camera setup on the S22 Ultra is way crazier than the iPhone 15's dual camera setup. We'll talk about that in a second. You are getting an S Pen on the S22 Ultra, which is a really nice feature. That's basically like a stylus that you can use on your phone. A very cool feature going on with that device over the iPhone 15s. You are also getting basically wireless charging on both, MagSafe capability on the iPhone 15. S22 Ultra has wireless charging and reverse wireless charging, which is a really cool feature. And that kind of covers it up on the outside. The S22 Ultra is a bigger, better phone, but the iPhone 15 is a smaller phone that some people may actually prefer. Camera-wise, you were getting a wide periscope telephoto, and then another ultra-wide camera on the S22 Ultra. With the iPhone 15, you're getting that wide and ultra-wide camera. This is not even a fair comparison here, so I'm not going to talk too much into these cameras. The S22 Ultra's camera is just significantly better, but these two phones are kind of two different phones that we're comparing. The S22 Ultra was a very expensive phone when it first came out. The iPhone 15 is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars cheaper compared to the S22 Ultra. So it's not really apples to apples that we're comparing here, but I'll still tell you, they both can do 4K at 60 on the front and the back, but the S22 Ultra has that better capability of doing 8K capability on the back of that phone. That is a crazy feature that we have on that particular phone, and in my opinion, that's a really good feature going on with that device. I think with the iPhone 15's camera, it's still great, but I think the S22 Ultra is overall the better one. You're also getting more features on that phone as well. By far, I look at the phone as the S22 Ultra as the better one for sure. Software and longevity though, I would probably give that to the iPhone 15. I think that is the device that's probably going to be lasting and giving you just a longer lasting experience no matter which way you look at it. So I think that's probably another significant thing to kind of keep in mind there too. If you're wanting the longer lasting phone, the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra is not necessarily going to be the one that's going to be giving you that type of experience from there. So that right there, another small minor thing to keep in mind as well. Now, on top of that, between both, like I mentioned, they're both very good performing devices. The S22 Ultra had that Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chipset inside with 8 gigs of RAM on the base model, but it did go up to 12 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone 15 has that Apple A16 Bionic chip inside with 6 gigabytes of RAM. Performance-wise, in my opinion, you are definitely going to be getting a better performing phone pretty much every single way. I think the S22 Ultra is going to be more, performance heavy, especially with that 120Hz display. But the iPhone 15 is still giving you a very solid experience within it, and that's another really big advantage for that type of device. That's something that I look at on the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra as being one of its main characteristics, one of its main features. But I definitely do think that the iPhone 15, for it being as good of a phone, for it being kind of the base model iPhone, it's a very good performing device, and it definitely gets a thumbs up for me as well, but I think the Ultra is probably the better one when it comes down to it. Battery life wise, this is another interesting thing. A much bigger size battery on the S22 Ultra. I feel like the iPhone 15's battery life has been pretty good, but the Ultra is always kind of notorious of having pretty decent battery life because of its massive size battery. You're also getting reverse wireless charging on the device too, which is a really cool battery feature. So overall, when it comes down to it, to kind of sum up this entire video, I definitely do think both these devices are very, very good. I definitely do think if you want the phone that's going to last the longest amount of time and probably is good for the most average person, the iPhone 15 is probably the one I'd recommend there. But the Ultra is the one that if you're, wanting to get a phone that's a little bit cheaper than the iPhone 15 in the used market and is still giving you a very solid experience and probably more of a better experience for a shorter amount of time, the S22 Ultra is probably the one I'd recommend going there in that direction. So that pretty much covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.